A week ago, at exactly 7 in the evening, my fiancée, Elisa, disappeared. We were supposed to get married this fall. We'd already bought the rings, simple platinum bands with engravings inside. Hers with my name, mine with hers. Just a week before, we had picked out her dress, delicate, lacy. She looked like a ghost from some beautiful, ancient fairy tale. And then, just silence. No see you later. No be right back. Just absolute, all-consuming silence. Her phone is unreachable. She's not at home. And her work just shrugs their shoulders. The police, after the standard questions about arguments, just gave me a pat on the shoulder. Just wait, mister. She's a grown woman. Maybe she left on her own. She'll cool off and come back. But I knew her. I knew every mole on her skin, every note in her laugh. She wouldn't do this. She would never leave me in this hell of uncertainty. The only lead was the data from the last outgoing call from her phone. It wasn't made from home or a cafe, but from the grounds of the old Berkeley Manor on the very edge of town. This Victorian-era mansion has stood abandoned for decades. They'd been planning to tear it down for a luxury housing complex, but something always got in the way. Investors would back out, or historians would protest. The locals, they stay clear of it. They say the land there is tainted, that even before the revolution, something dark happened there. And it only got worse after the last owner's suicide in the 50s. You can't get in during the day. The entire perimeter is surrounded by a 10-foot fence topped with barbed wire. And supposedly, there's even security. So, I didn't have much of a choice. I had to go at night. When I climbed over a rusted section of the fence in its most secluded corner, my head started spinning instantly. It wasn't from fear, no. It was as if the air inside was different. On the banister of the grand staircase leading to the second floor, I found her scarf. That same light silk scarf with the floral print I'd given her last summer. It was soaked through and ice cold, as if it had just been pulled from freezing water. Yet everything around it was bone dry to the touch. My hand trembled as I shoved it into my pocket. In one of the first floor drawing rooms, among the wreckage of furniture and crumbling plaster, I saw a glint of light. Her phone. It was lying face down, the screen a spiderweb of cracks. But a faint battery light was still blinking underneath. I picked it up. The screen went dark, then lit up again, showing a single message, sent from her own number. I'm here. My heart hammered in my throat. I started calling for her, first in a whisper, then louder and louder. In response, the echo only twisted my words, returning them as a whisper full of hissing consonants. And that's when I noticed something strange. house inside didn't match what I'd seen from the outside. It was bigger. Corridors branched off, disappearing into the darkness. Doors appeared where there had just been solid walls. I knew the layout. I'd studied its old blueprints in the municipal archive. The gilded mirrors, coated in a thick layer of dust, didn't reflect me. In their depths, as if underwater, she stood. Pale, in that same white dress we had chosen. She was standing right behind me, her cheek touching my shoulder. But when I spun around in terror, there was only emptiness and that heavy, grave-like air. I had almost lost all sense of time and space, wandering through this labyrinth, when at the end of the longest, darkest hallway, I saw her. Not a reflection. Her. She stood with her back to me, in that white dress, staring at the wall. A glow was coming from her, outlining her silhouette in a deathly radiance. "Alyssa?" I breathed, my voice breaking into a whisper. It wasn't her face. The features were hers, yes, but distorted into a horrifying mask of absolute, bottomless despair. Her eyes were empty, black, like the windows outside, and they reflected nothing. And her mouth. It opened so wide, so unnaturally, that her cheeks tore, and I heard the distinct dry crunch of breaking bone and cartilage. From that black hole of a mouth, something like smoke began to pour out, and a sound arose that froze the blood in my veins. A non-human, guttural howl filled with such ancient hatred that my mind went blank. I staggered back, tripped, and ran, blinded by terror. The corridors were closing in, doors slamming shut on their own, as if a giant trap was trying to keep me inside. I no longer believed I would get out, that this house would ever let me go. But then, around another bend, I saw the moon through a shattered window, and then the front door. It was wide open, as if someone had just walked out. I flew outside, not remembering how I got there, and ran without looking back, all the way to my car. Only, inside, gasping for breath, shivering, did I feel a cold bite on my skin. I looked down at my left hand, gripping the steering wheel. On my ring finger was a ring, our wedding ring. The one that was supposed to be at home, in a velvet box on the dresser. It was ice cold. I tried to pull it off. It wouldn't budge a millimeter. It was as if it had fused with my skin, become a part of me. I looked at the inner band, where we had so carefully chosen the font for the engraving. Her name was engraved there. Alyssa. I hadn't put it on. I swore I would only put it on our wedding day. And now it won't come off. I think I brought her out of the manor with me. But not the one I loved. Not my Alyssa. Something else. It's attached itself to me. It's here, in this ring, on my hand. I feel its coldness all the time, even during the day. I see movement in mirrors out of the corner of my eye. A white dress. This chapter closes. I thank you for venturing into this tome. If the shadows stirred something within, let it be known. Share your thoughts, like, and subscribe for more locked stories. The darkness always waits.